Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the Happiness Economy podcast. Today, a special one for Nick and I. We have a great friend of ours who has shared so much of his mental wellness journey that we thought that we'd invite him. So before we start and before we introduce him, trigger warning. We are going to be getting deep and heavy. We are going to be touching on suicide. And I think the responsible thing is just to let you know. So, with that joyous piece of information out of the way, please help welcome. He likes to be known as Ronaldo Silvestre.
I'm also here. It's Nicholas Goliath and Jason Goliath. I'm sorry.
I think that was a given. He likes to be known as Ronaldo Silvestre, but on his ID it is Ronaldo de Souza, and he hates it.
Hates it? Why?
Why do you hate it, Ronaldo?
If we have any Zulu listeners,
It means the farter, the pooper, the launcher. De
I spent my
Souza.
whole of high school, Ronaldo the Fart, Ronnie the Fart, Ronnie the Fart.
Ronnie the Fart. I actually saw trauma in your face.
Listen,
As you said, Ronnie the Fart. I actually saw it all coming back.
The amount of trauma I had, and because I was affiliated with that name, I would carry like a little bit of like aftershave at school just
so you don't smell
all the
like
time. So they'd be like,
D'Souza.
guys, you can say what you want. I
smell amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I smell
You-
and I was
amazing.
buying
Your
the good
fart
stuff.
smelled
212, like the
Yeah.
Hugo.
Carolina Carrera 212.
My
Come
favorite.
on. Come on. I used to also dial a 212
Yeah.
back in the day. Ronaldo, just to give you all context, is one of the most interesting individuals we've ever met.
Yeah.
We met him in the context as a great videographer and content creator, and a guy that produces content and makes
everything
content for us.
together.
But he's also been in all forms of entertainment. He has worn superhero outfits and done dancing. One of the craziest things I did. Family Day for what is the name of that thing? It was the
it's the
IDC.
JSE? Oh.
IDC.
Yeah,
I did the IDC Family
shit.
Day the other day, and he said he had
Dipstick.
trauma because he used to do it every year.
Yeah.
And when he was in his
Yeah.
Spider-Man suit, they used to have mob mentality because somebody eventually would put their finger in his ass, and then the kids would all line up, and one by one, it would just become a thing next. And then,
How do you make Spider-Man jump into a tree?
Yeah.
he said he would literally get home with a sore arsehole.
Oh, man.
And then he said you'd wear padded stuff to try and break their fingers. He'd try, try me now.
It's exactly like that. I probably bought so many tampons, the pads. So many, I had hundreds. And I can even advise which ones are nice, which ones are comfortable. So
With
anyone
wings,
needs
with
any
the wings.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wings work.
No shame, but it was, all it takes is one kid to be like, and
Yeah.
the rest, you're gone.
They in.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
in. Literally,
There's
they
been so many. There was times that like I used to wear suits for children's parties. And the one time this mom's like, I used to have Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
So I'd put like a
How did you get into this?
Well, you finish that story first.
Yeah.
Finish that story first.
No, it's quite crazy. I'll quickly
Okay.
run through the how I got there. So I used to be running my own film company and stuff, and then I left when I got married, and I thought, okay, cool, I'm going to get married. I'm done with the film industry. I had a restraint of trade for 2 years. So like, what am I going to do? So my brother just had his daughter. She
Yeah.
was quite young, and she went to Kingsmead College. And he's like, listen, do me a favor. Don't you want to dress up as Minnie Mouse for her birthday? And then I saw a
even
place where I
Mickey,
can
by
hire
the
the
way.
suits and stuff. So I put the stockings on, all this kind of stuff. I came
got a
as
good
Minnie
leg.
Mouse. And all these moms were from Kingsmead. They got money, Kingsmead
Yeah.
kids. Yeah. So then, so I did this thing. I played with my niece and I went over the top. And all the moms were like, oh my God, can you come to my kid's party? And I was like, I don't really want to do this, but it's fun. 1,500 Rand for 45 minutes, 15 minutes get changed, 45 minutes I'll play
Yeah.
with the kids, take photos. So maybe half an hour I'll play, 15 minutes I'll take photos, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And it just took off and I just started doing party after party after party. But there's so many crazy stories. So like
So the Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the
man.
Pooh, yeah.
Dude, Winnie the Pooh, there's another. While we're on Minnie, let me quickly just tell you about Minnie. We go to this one party, we take photos, everyone's cutting the cake and whatever. There's like a little old man, the grandfather, sitting next to the table, and I've got quite nice legs. Like if you look at my legs,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
we see
You
you
got
wash
like a
with-
boat.
you wash with-
Yeah.
yeah.
And so in stockings, they look
Looking
great.
cute.
They look good, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like cutting the cake, whatever. I'm smiling. Inside that head, what's funny is that you actually smile. Like
Yeah.
smiling and whatever. And And we're cutting the cake. I'm like, hey, 1, 2, 3, happy birthday. And I just feel this hand come up, and it's like coming up my leg, coming up my leg. And I'm thinking, yes. So I'm looking in the head, but you only got a little bit of vision. So I'm trying to see who it is. And I just see this old man sitting next to me, but his leg's on the inside. And I'm like, oh my God, keep going up and you're going to get a surprise. Yeah, you're going to get a surprise. So, but I felt so violated. It was pretty rough. And then I go to the kitchen afterwards. I get changed, and the mom pays me, and this little old man comes out. Hey, where's Minnie? So she goes, no, this is Minnie, Ronaldo. And this little old man with his little sticks running away. And I was like, yeah, you bastard! I know what you did. So crazy. And then there was another. The Winnie the Pooh one was funny because we were at Emperor's Palace. Quite a rich family, a Muslim family, and they had their kids there. They had hired the whole place, and the baby was so scared. It was a little baby.
Yeah.
So it was scared of the suit. So they're like, Ronaldo, you got to take off the head. You must take off the head so that the baby's not scared. So I said, I can't because I'm wearing like a morph suit, which is like a shadow, like one big black thing that goes over your head. So I'm like, it's going to get even more scared. Don't
Make it worse.
like, take off the head, take off the head. They forced me to take off the head, and it was just black, and this little kid's like, oh.
Lady is freaked out till today. Can't eat honey.
Mother
friend.
can't vapor that. It's too trauma.
There's so many, man. Yes, some crazy stuff. But which brings me to the story of how all this started. Like the depression and all that kind of stuff. So what happened was I was running this business in like 2017 or whatever. I was running for like 6 years. I did so many parties. Like
Just before you go, we're gonna pick up there again. So just watch your beads banging, because for a sound guy,
cool.
you
For
a guy who knows what this is doing.
And I smart that you keep just
Like, ding, ding.
Playing some music.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll keep it here.
Some
So you can just pick up for me on. Let me tell you where it all got started and the depression.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so then, so basically the suit, it was called Rent-a-Tune.
Yeah.
And you rent it for a party and stuff. And then what happened was that was like the start of the end for me in terms of like depression and going through like some rough times or whatever. Before that, everything was good. I was young and, running this business, making quite a lot of money. On the weekends, we'd have like 10, 20 parties a weekend. It was doing really, really well.
It's like
and
15
eventually,
grand a weekend.
Yeah, yes. So it was like
Beautiful.
1.5, like 10 parties, 15. Maybe we did 20 parties, 30 grand a weekend.
What a
It
pleasure.
was like a really, really good business.
And that's
where you feel like everything's just you winning.
Yeah, everything's
30 grand
fine.
a
Everything's
weekend.
like
But also just context, how long ago was this?
Oh, it was a while back, because now it's not as hectic. Like there's guys that are doing cosplaying, like dressing or whatever. But anyway, I got smacked with like a cease and desist letter, like from the lawyers, from Disney America, like Disney 1920. And they said, you got to stop using the characters, you're going out as Mickey and whatever and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And this was in 2017.
Sorry?
2017.
Yeah, 2017, like, 2017, the end of 2017, it's like on the way to 2018.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw a documentary about the guys who created who like went up against Sega or something. They used to make like a patch for the gaming, the in-store the thing. And they made like they had a motherboard that you could connect and to add extra levels or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were doing this thing. And then Sega sent them also a cease and desist.
Yeah.
Cease and desist. And their thinking was, that's so fucking great, because if
Sega
they
knows
sending
who we are.
They
exactly.
worried,
So
yeah.
then when you were saying now you got a letter all the way from America to
Yeah.
go, yeah.
The lawyers were here in Pretoria.
Okay, from
So they were
Pretoria,
quite
which
close.
is
So then
a
when,
lot closer.
and then I
easier.
saw-
Yeah, Walt is actually a good Afrikaans name.
Yeah, and I was,
Walt.
Walter tussen nie.
but and I was doing it right. So then in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, we're going well. So let me go see these lawyers.
Yeah.
So I go to the lawyers. I'm like, okay, cool guys. So listen, I'm ready to pay the royalties. What do I need to pay? How do I keep doing that? And they're like, no, man, you need to stop right now.
Immediately.
They even gave me nonsense about this. They said the tattoo artist that did this is liable for infringing on their characters. So then I was like, oh my God. So then,
Walt Disney,
Come on,
bullies.
Walter.
You bullies.
yeah, they were
Jeepers.
hectic. Eh? Then I got a lawyer because I was like, well, what I do, like, can I keep doing it? What I
Yeah.
do, like, this is my livelihood and whatever. And then they're like, the lawyer tells me that there's a case in America that this little boy he had like leukemia or whatever, and he was like, they're looking for funds and whatever, and he loves Spider-Man, so they're like raising funds, and everyone knew he loves Spider-Man. He's dressed in Spider-Man suits and stuff, and unfortunately the little boy passed away, and they put up a tombstone with Spider-Man on the tombstone, And because it was so publicized and going around America, they didn't let them take the tombstone. They removed the tombstone.
No.
And then I was like, okay, geez, let me just like
If they're
pack
taking
up my
it,
stuff.
if they're
and whatever.
taking from the dead, they will take from the
That's
living.
rough, eh? And then, so anyway, so then in the space, so then I had to stop like straight away. They wanted to send police and collect what suits that I had, but I was renting a lot of suits and whatnot. So then, anyway, the business closed down. They had
Yeah.
like a whole book. So when I went to the meeting, they had like all these photos of me at parties. So they ran like a...
Who reported you?
I don't know.
How did they find out?
I think it was another
Social
party
media,
planner
my
that used to book
friend.
me, and she got in trouble, and she was printing like plates and whatever with their logos, and she went to court to fight it, and then she's like, well, how does this guy do it if he's going as Mickey Mouse?
Oh my
And then,
goodness.
yeah. So then anyway, then I was like, okay, cool. So maybe I'm going to stop. And I said, you know, it's also like stressful. Like, I don't want to be in trouble. I don't have to pay whatever. So I went to court. I did everything right. I closed the business down and all that. But it's just crazy the lengths that they went through. So they phoned. They had a party. It was obviously like someone who was working, the lawyer had a party. They got me there. They took photos of me at the party, and they had like all these photos of me like accepting money. It was like almost like a drug deal. Crazy. And then I was like, and then even now, yes, it's like it's been years. I haven't run that business in years, but I'll get a call, and someone will be like, hey man, we used you a couple of years back. Do you have Mickey? And I'm like, no, that is illegal. You got some nerve phoning in.
How
Like,
dare
I was
you?
oblivious. I didn't know about that. Yeah. So anyway, so long story short, I lost all my income. So then I had a credit card with like sufficient money,
Yeah.
which lasted 3 months. And, you know, I was paying for a house, I was paying for all this kind of stuff. My son was just been born. And, yeah, so anyway, so lost the business, and then in 3 months lost everything. Like, had to start working again, didn't know what to do. And I fell into like a pretty bad depression. But after those 3 months, the end of 2017, my ex-wife at the time had, she gave birth to my son, and she had postpartum
Was she
depression.
ex already, or were you still married at the time?
We were married, yeah.
Okay.
So then she gave birth, and then so she suffered from postpartum depression. So she got depressed, and she was like, I don't want the baby, I don't want to be married, like, just not for me. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I powered through this Disney thing and all this kind of stuff, and I started working again. I went back to the film industry, started filming again, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, no man, I'm going to make this right, I'm going to get it better, all that kind of stuff. And we pushed through. And eventually when my son turned 3, she got put on medication. They told her she had postpartum depression. And then eventually she, after the 3rd year, was like, no, I'm fine. I don't want to be on the tablets anymore, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, cool, no problem. We're a little team now, we're a little family, whatever. And then I went to go shoot some stuff in Sun City. And I was filming in Sun City and stuff. And then my ex-wife's birthday is on the 2nd of May. Mine's on the 6th of May, and my son's on the 11th of May.
Yeah.
So Mother's Day was on the 13th. So I was in Sun City from the Wednesday to the Friday. So I said, okay, cool, let's stay in Sun City. I'll pay for like the palace,
Yeah.
and she'll come, and we'll celebrate my son's birthday on the 11th, and then we'll have Mother's Day on the 13th.
Yeah.
We'll be lekker. So she came to Sun City, and the Friday we had my son's birthday, whatever. Saturday morning she wakes up and she's like, I want to go home. So I'm like, oh my God, I just paid for the palace and whatever.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive. And this. She's like, no, I want to go home. I'm going to take my son and we're going to go home. So she goes home. Now I'm driving behind her. My son's in that car. And I'm just like, shit, like what is going on?
What happened?
Yeah, so drive home, get home. We get home, bath my son, put him to bed, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like wondering where she is. And at the time, my mom was living in a flatlet above our house. So I sent her an SMS and said, are you with your mom or where are you? You're going to come say goodnight to my son or whatever. So then she's like, no, she's downstairs, but it's fine. I can put him to sleep. So I put him to sleep. I go downstairs and she's crying. Like I go to the couch, I'm like rubbing her on the back. I'm like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, don't worry about the palace.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just money, man.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, Ron, I want a divorce. And I was like, and
And you had no idea at this time. In your mind, you
Yeah,
were
I
Just
just-
trying to fix it at
I
this point.
thought we were okay. And I thought like, also at the time I was also like naive to everything. I was going through so much stuff that I was trying to like fix a lot of things and carry the weight of everything. But it's hard. It's like a two-way street. But when one's just carrying everything, you don't want to give up. But at the same time, you're not getting the
support.
And then
that
I
you
also
need.
just felt like, we've gone through this already when my son was born. I don't know if I can do it again. And it's just like, I'll just pit it. So then I told her, I said, okay, well, I'm going to, like, what I do? Like, must I go to my parents, whatever. So she's like, no, it's fine. You don't have to go now. You can go on Monday. And I was like, Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine,
I
I'll go
must
now.
chill
So
you
then
tomorrow.
Yeah, so then I went to my parents. I cried. Came back on Monday. When I got back to the house on Monday, all my stuff was packed up in the garage. I couldn't even go inside the house. All my stuff was already there. I just took it home. And I was like, what has happened? So now it's like someone that I was with for like 12 years, for so long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just didn't understand, you know? So then I fell like fast into a depression. So I went back to my parents and, you know, always act like everything's fine. I'm always like, okay, no, it's fine. You know, like laughing,
Because you also
joking.
don't want to stress your parents out.
Don't want to stress them out. And then also, I'm from a Portuguese family. So the Portuguese family is like, oh, you got nothing and you've wasted all your money. And, you know, like, not in a bad way. Like they're saying it like, oh, you got to be more careful and you got to be this. But it came back like, oh, I've let them down. At the time, I thought I let her down, my ex-wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I let my son down. I'm a bad father. I'm a bad dad. And I just started like carrying on with those thoughts.
In a spiral.
And then at the time, before Disney, I went deaf in my left ear. So I had all these problems. I was like getting dizzy and stuff. They thought I had Meniere's disease, went for all these tests and stuff. And I went deaf. So I developed like tinnitus. So tinnitus, that buzzing in the ear. So like when I would get stressed, this buzzing would be like, zzz, like super loud. And so they put me on anxiety tablets to like calm me down, like that thing. And so I had these anxiety tablets, and I had like a beta blocker which slows your heart down. If you're having a heart attack, you take that tablet. And then I was just like, I was such an asshole to myself, and I just thought like, fuck, I'm just terrible. I'm the worst person. I couldn't hold a marriage. I've lost everything. Disney sued me. Like everything is just the worst. And I was so horrible. Always thinking these terrible thoughts about myself. And eventually I was like, I don't want to be it. Like and when you start thinking like that, you start going like, they don't deserve me. Like my son doesn't deserve me. I'm so messed up that my son doesn't deserve me. And
I want to just be careful with that English there because that's, I think this is the most important part. So one of the most important reasons I asked you on is I've had suicidal thoughts through my life, and I always kind of, the reason that I didn't was, and this was 15 years ago, was because I couldn't do that to my mother. Was my thought process. And I remember you and I having a conversation where I said to you, bruh, I can talk to you because you share so freely and you're so generous with what you've been through, but I don't understand. You had a son who you tell me that you love. How could you do that to your son? And your response to me, I'll never forget, because it changed the way I'm able to even think about anybody that's going through any type of depression, was that there's levels that I never understood. And your response was, I was doing it for him. Yeah. So when you say your son didn't deserve you, it means that you felt like your son didn't deserve to go through what you were putting him through, and your son would be better off without you. I just want to make sure that English is not that he didn't deserve you, like he's bad. Yeah. It's like you felt like you were removing yourself was so doing him a favor.
For sure, yeah, like that. And I felt like I'm such a failure. And he's going to look up to me, and it's going to be like this broken home, and maybe I caused it, because at the time I thought like maybe it's me, like maybe I blame everything inward. So like I'm like, oh, it's me and it's this and it's that, and like maybe I did something wrong and all that kind of stuff. And then I just felt like he's better off without me, because he's going to be stuck with this guy who, like his parents were saying, money's like, he doesn't have money, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do, like all these things that gone wrong. Oh, you didn't think about this, and you just did this, and you wasted all your stuff. And I got a wife who's like, no, but I don't want to be with you, and this and that. It amounted so hard that I was just like, Jesus Christ, like I can't do this anymore, because it's too much for me, and I'm this terrible person or whatever. So then,
so sorry to cut you there.
Yeah.
So at this time, these are all things that you're telling yourself.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I was the biggest arsehole.
So you haven't had conversation.
And people were loving and everything.
Yes.
But it was like, again, like when someone showed me love, like my brother or my father or my mom were like, oh, we love you so much and blah, blah, blah. I just like, I'm just weighing them down. I'm back here with them now. I'm their issue, and I don't have money, and I have to start from scratch. And I'm building my whole life again.
And these are societal pressures that you're under.
Yeah. But to them, I'm like, oh, Shem, thank you. And whatever. They never knew. And that's what killed them in the end, because so what happened was eventually I took these beta blockers. So I had the beta blockers that slow your heart down. And I had like a thing called a sleeping tablet.
Okay, yeah.
So I took like a bunch of, I didn't know that the beta blockers can't really kill you.
Sound disappointed.
But I thought
before Google.
I thought it's going to slow my heart down so much that it will just end. You know? So I just took all of them, and and to be honest, like when I took that stuff, and I even took the Trypanol or whatever, the sleeping tablet,
Yeah.
and that night, like I felt,
At ease.
yes, man, I
Felt
felt like
Peace.
I'm gonna go to sleep and everything's cool, and it's like I don't have to worry about this anymore, whatever. And then anyway, long story short, I did that. And when you take that stuff, you're so lethargic, you can't talk, you can barely breathe, like your heart's running so slow.
Yeah.
So my family found me, and they're like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, what now? So my brother and my mom and whatever, they all spoke, and they tried to take me to doctors and to like a
Emergency.
psychiatrist
Yeah.
and stuff. And then, but that's just more tablets, you know? And then, so then I was just like so upside down. And I had an aunt who was living in Madeira Island who was suffering from cancer, stage 4 cancer. She was like not doing so well. And and that aunt is my godmother as well. So she phoned my mom and she's like, no, shame, man. Like, bring him here. And then my parents like, look, we're going to send you over and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to stay there with your aunt for like a month. And then, and I was like, no, I can't. And what about my son? And what about money? I don't have money, whatever. And that poor aunt of mine, like, paid, she's like, how much you need for the month?
Yeah.
Like, what's your expenses? What you think? Don't worry about anything. We're going to sort all that out.
Just come.
Put money in my account. Took me to Madeira. And I sat there and, like, that's when
This is
everything-
a person who has got stage 4 cancer.
Yeah. She
This is the
sadly
person
passed
that is
away,
reaching
like,
out.
the year after.
Okay.
Yeah. But then, so I went over there, and every day I sat with her, she had this will to live. She'd like, and she would tell me like, oh man, I'm going to make it, I'm going to be supposed to. And slowly but surely, I started going like, yes, I'm making such a fuss about a girl that didn't want me. At the end of the day, if you break it
Yeah.
down to like,
Yeah.
someone who didn't want me, you know, and maybe I am good. And I was getting reinforced over there. My cousins and everyone was taking me around and whatever. And they made me feel so loved and stuff. And they were like telling me all this good stuff about myself and stuff. And then, anyway, then it just broke my heart. I actually felt like I was being silly, like seeing what my aunt was going through and how positive she was and her outlook and everything. And then, you know, like if people asked, like, I felt stupid to say, like, I tried to kill myself because I went through a divorce.
Yeah.
When it's like, here's someone fighting to live and here's me, like, praying to die. Like, it's crazy. Like, if
You
she
know,
could have swapped
I
places.
want you to say that sentence again. Here's somebody fighting to live,
Yeah.
and here's me praying to die.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So,
And-
my question is, because, like you were saying, you've had all these people around you, showing you love, showing you support, and this is more just for the person who's in that same kind of mental space, because we recently lost a friend to suicide, a fellow comedian, and you know we went to the memorial and then to the funeral, and just so many people were there to show love and support, and it made me realize that guy I think he was aware of all the love and support, because I feel like people often go, you feel so alone that's the only reason you need to that space. But I feel like even with all the love and support that he had, you've spoken yourself into such a deep hole that it doesn't matter that you just not justify, but you brush off the support.
You know what the problem is? Sorry, man.
Yeah.
The problem is you feel like such a burden to the world, right? So even if these people are happy around you and they show you love and everything, you like in your mind, you're like, if you knew the darkness in my mind, I would just be a burden to you. If you knew the stuff that I was telling myself, you would walk away and you'd be sad to know that I think that way of myself. It would hurt them. So they'd be like, what? No ways. But you like this and you like that. And, da, da, da. And you're like, no, but you don't understand. That's why people always say like, oh, you don't understand. You don't understand what I'm going through. Because if they talk to someone, people are like, oh, no, you're mad, man. But you're fine. You're this and that. But the thing is, the power comes from the person.
I also think that there's this danger of somebody who does not understand depression assuming that somebody who is depressed mind works the same as their mind.
Yeah, go to gym.
And
I think that
go to gym, go lift some weights. You're like, what, motherfucker?
like,
I want to die.
It's like it's so like, you know, when we were at Eb's funeral, the most powerful thing for me was, and I got such a release from his girlfriend saying, your love kept him around a lot longer than he would have been because Eb didn't want to be here. And I think that the difficulty that anybody going through depression faces is those around them not understanding depression and thinking that it's a bad mood, or it's just a normal sadness that you can kind of snap your fingers and get on with it, overcome. Look around you, everybody's positive. You've got things for to live for. But just based on your story, before your interaction with your aunt, it was impossible for your mind, when you were at the point where you took the pills, it was impossible for your mind to see that simple logic of, here's somebody that is praying to live because death is on their door, and here am I, full of life, praying to die. And I think that that's the difficulty with mental illness. Is I always say to people, like, it's easy to empathize with somebody who has a physical disability. So you lost your leg. It's easy for us to accommodate you. If we know Ronaldo doesn't have a leg, the studio's on the first floor, for example, we would have made a plan today to shoot downstairs, accommodated you in a number of different ways, because a physical disability is easy to us to see, simple for us to understand and empathize with. Where a mental disability, it's so difficult for somebody who doesn't suffer the same neurodiversity or the same mental unwellness as you, to be able to empathize and fully understand and be able to then have that level of empathy like you would for somebody who is going through something. So it's like, I think that's why, like, it's such a difficult thing in society, and it's such a difficult thing even for science to be able to pin down what the easiest ways to present a solve is, because the flip side is, once you are diagnosed, you take another tablet and people kind of go, okay, so you're better now, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you'd never ask somebody who'd lost their leg, so did your leg grow back last night? Your leg is back now. You know what I mean? You'd empathize differently. So it's a difficult,
But with what I've learned now, so you can't run away from depression, huh?
Yeah.
So now it's not like it goes away and everything's miraculously better. So there's days where I'll wake up and I'll be depressed.
Yeah.
So the trick now is that, like, so what I learned, I found quite powerful, like with what I went through. So my first thing was, people, like, I've watched a podcast before, and there's people saying that there's no, like, guide to thingy, but there is things that you can do, right? And it's firstly, like, looking at the problem, like, I'm depressed. Why am I depressed? And when you start breaking down, you can say, oh, I got divorced, or it was this person, or whatever, or this, or Disney, or, I got sued, I don't have money, all this kind of stuff, financial stuff, whatever. But if you can look at that thing and you can say, like, nothing that these things have happened was the thing that made me depressed. It was me that caused the depression. So, like, when you get depressed and you linger in the depression and you buy into it and you talk into it and you're like, oh, I'm so terrible, that's how the depression grows and grows and grows. That's why it's like this disease. You feed it. But now the thing is to not run away from it. So, like, with me, I started realizing, like, who's with the divorce? Oh, it was her and she did this and she did that. No. The end of the day, she might have done things that were wrong.
Yeah.
But for me, allowing that was the problem. So in terms of me, the growth was, I allowed someone to treat me in a bad way. So I wasn't worthy enough. I had no self-worth to be like, hey, I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
That's nonsense. You don't treat me like that. And if you're unhappy and whatever, but don't bring me down.
And you accepting the treatment feeds the depression.
Yeah. So you try. So the whole thing of, like, conquering depression is building your self-worth. Because we came to this world alone, we're going to leave this world alone. There's no one else that can make you happy. You've got to make your own happiness. And the reason to do that is to build up your pride and build up your confidence and all that kind of stuff. So, like, with me, like, let's take something stupid like finances. I was so stressed because I was owing so much money. I had to pay all these things back, and I was thinking about all this big stuff. Oh, how am I going to get my son to school? How am I going to pay this? I'm going to pay the house. I'm going to pay whatever. And I make those problems. Like, I believe as well, like, if you give consciousness to something, it grows. And so if you thinking, oh gosh, how am I going to do this? It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So with me, I started going, okay, what are my problems? My problem is I think I'm not a good dad. I think I'm not a good husband. I think I'm not a nice person. I think
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff. And then I started building myself on those things. What would make me proud of myself? Not looking for anything or whatever, but what would make me proud of myself? I'm struggling with money, but if I go out and I buy a cappuccino, $30 that I worked for, and I bought myself a cappuccino and I enjoy that reward. Flip, I bought this cappuccino with the money that I made.
Yeah.
And I'm in that moment and I drink the cappuccino. Whereas like you just go and you buy and you're like, oh fuck, life's so hard,
Yeah.
but then you drink it.
Yeah.
And you're not even proud of those things. So you need like start celebrating the little things. Then with my son, I was like, I'm not a bad dad. Like I started looking back to all these things. I started making little videos of me and my son and watching back all these kind of cute things that we did together and stuff. So I started making a whole bunch of videos and it started making me proud. And then I was like, gosh, I'm going to write a book. I want to write a book about him. And one day he's going to look back and say, yes, my dad made this book about me. So then I wrote 12 books. I just wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And it made me so happy to make these books. And I started going like, yes, you know, I'm actually pretty good at this, and
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself for doing this, and I got it published and all that kind of stuff. And there was like pride in that. So and it was for me, not for anyone else. And then so then I did that, and then friends. I was like, okay, cool. So this person might have not appreciated me, and but there are people that are. So let me focus my time on those people. Started hanging out with those people. Started cutting out people in my life, like sticking to the positive people and the people that like reassured me and helped me grow and supported me and all that kind of stuff. And then started growing like that. So I just started building up myself a little bit, you know, hanging out with you guys. Even that time I told you, I was like, you know, sitting with you guys is so great. Because you guys are so like, there's so much camaraderie. Like, hey, well done, man. And it's genuine. There's nothing worse than having people like in your group that go, oh man, that's so lack of you. And they go home, they're like, just bloody shit.
Yeah,
He thinks he's so great and he's doing this and
Oh,
doing
he's
that.
bragging again about his holiday. Oh, he's bragging again about his new money.
Yeah, now he's going to, but to your face, they're going to tell you,
Yeah, no,
hey,
they smile and
fucking
laugh
well,
with you,
hey, amazing. You know, I love you. You know, it's all nonsense. But then, so that,
But you also feel that, you know
Yeah,
who
you-
those
that-
people
that's
are
the
in your
thing.
life.
You know the authenticity
and once you
sincerity.
start being confident for yourself, no one can tell you anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you feel that there's givers and takers. So you got people that you can feel like, hey, this person's taking.
Yeah.
I'm giving this one's giving me. So if someone's taking, I cut them out.
Yeah. I read an interesting thing that said givers must be careful because takers don't know when to stop.
Yeah. And do you know
Takers
the
will
thing is-
never say no, thank you.
Yeah.
I've had
but,
enough.
But you know what the thing is? There's a level of that I still give, even to a taker or whatever, because that's genuinely me. That's
Who
my
you are. Yeah, yeah.
authenticity is giving. So if you're going to mishandle me, it's not on me. It's on you. I gave you this and you chose to mistreat me.
Yes.
And I'm, you know, I know that I'm worth more than that. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you say. Doesn't matter anything.
Yeah.
But I gave it to you, and you screwed it up. That's the last chance, and you don't give again.
Cutting
And
out.
that's how you grow.
And that's
and
okay.
eventually,
Because, sorry to cut you again,
Yeah.
but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that it's okay. It's okay to cut those people
Yeah.
out. It's
Oh,
okay. It doesn't
family,
matter who they
friends,
are.
doesn't matter.
You'd be amazed that a sun still comes up tomorrow.
We have this not induction.
Indoctrination.
Indoctrination. Yeah, cheap as English. We have this indoctrination that, oh no, it's, you know, families. F is for family. Thank you. Fast and Furious. You know, like you've got
Vin
to
Diesel.
do everything because this is your cousin, your brother, your sister,
Yeah.
whatever, and you've got to go the extra mile to support them. And there's a part of me that goes, yeah, we've got to be there. But also at some point, when you feel disrespected, when you feel taken advantage of, it's okay. I believe that it's okay to go, I don't care that you're my aunt, my cousin, my brother, my sister, my whatever. You're taking advantage and you don't see the damage you're doing. So I'm putting
I
up the
think
bar.
both you and Ronaldo have articulated it. I think it's about understanding your self-worth, deciding how you deserve to be treated, and not accepting anybody who treats you differently, no matter what their title is. And I think a lot of us come from cultures, and weirdly Portuguese culture and colored culture are very similar in a lot of ways.
Both like
where
dope.
we're both like dope, but both also, you know, everything for family. And then even family is not allowed to treat you a certain way. Even family is not allowed to cross certain boundaries that kind of go against your identity of self-worth and where you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Those
know what I
aunties
mean?
that want to tell you how your marriage should be going, it's not your business.
And it's those same aunties who can't cook.
Yeah,
Oh.
but listen,
I said what
the crazy
I
thing is
said.
if you put those boundaries in place, your family loves you that they do change.
Yes.
That, you know.
Respect you.
But the thing is, we're so scared to do it because hey, they're not gonna, you know.
Yeah, but
Listen,
but that's also like you said, you'll be able to, once you have a decent sense of self-worth, only then can you see the difference between a giver and a taker.
Yes,
And then
yeah.
you start leaning in to those who are givers, and those that are takers, they'll start feeling uncomfortable and distance themselves from you. Then
Those
those
are the
that
same
are
ones?
left, those that are left are the ones that because I can tell you now that you are exactly like Nick and I. Those that are in your circle, you'll die for. You'll die for without question. They can call you at 2:00 in the morning with the most ridiculous ask. You will not question, but that's because those are your people.
Yeah.
Those are your people. Those that are not there anymore, those were the takers. Those are the people that were only happy to see you down, to see you lower yourself, put pressure on yourself, not stand
See
for
you
you.
stay the same.
Or see you be
movement.
worse off than
Yes.
them.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. And then, another crazy thing is like, I've changed my whole outlook. And you guys say it all the time, like, all you want is peace now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So peace, I just want to get by and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's also super important because a lot of people that will suffer from depression or do these things, like suicide also is like a weird thing because even afterwards, years later, like now, I still
Yeah.
have days where I'll be playing with my son and I think, shit, there's guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to deal with the guilt of like,
So,
I
do they call
almost
it
missed out on
survivor's
all
guilt?
this.
Yes.
I almost missed out on all this, and yes. But then there's also another side of the same thing where you go, oh, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad
Because
it was great. And,
opened your eyes, helped you wake up.
yeah, and look
Helped
how
you
good
wake
it
up,
is.
shake it off,
Yeah.
and be here because it's one thing to just have been here, but now to. What I love is that thing you said about the coffee, and I'm hoping that thing didn't slip away for anybody who's going through depression. Is it's about bringing it down to celebrate even the 30 Rand win.
Yeah,
Just even a cup of coffee, don't let that go for granted.
Yeah.
Like we speak about the importance of gratitude every single day and how gratitude is a foundation for peace. And I won't even say for happiness, for peace, but coming back down to even that 30 Rand win. So then if you can appreciate a cup of coffee and how grateful you are,
Yeah.
a moment with your child is worth
Yeah.
a billion times
yeah.
more than that.
Yeah, and then the big stuff becomes massive because
Yes.
the thing is we don't stress enough about the small stuff, and then the big stuff, and then it's the same as like it's like once you get into that groove of being confident and having self-worth, nothing worries you anymore.
Yes, you
So
don't
like
sweat the small
I
stuff.
can have months of like no income.
Yeah.
No income. And it doesn't stress me. And everyone's like, this guy's mad. Like, aren't you stressed?
Yeah.
Whatever. But I just know that it's going to come.
Yeah.
And it does come. It comes just before
Just when
things
you
get
need
paid.
it.
Always. But the second I go, geez, the stuff's going to start bouncing, this and
Then
that.
it bounces.
And then boom, it bounces. It bounces and it gets even worse.
Yeah.
Like it just gets, and you're like,
Because
oh
now
no,
you're
it's
a
like
month
snowball.
behind.
Yeah.
Now you've got to,
But now it's like you I don't know. I just think it's like even this, like I don't know. I like to wear these things like evil eyes, like people talking bad about you. You wear evil eyes and all that kind of stuff. So it keeps like negative thoughts
Yeah.
away from you and stuff. And it's a silly thing, but it's whatever you give power to. So like
Whatever
this
you
doesn't-
believe
it
is gonna
doesn't-
be true.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
so people might say like, hey, I pray. If you believe that praying is going to work for you, it's going to work
It'll
for you.
work
If
for
you
you.
believe
Yeah.
that this is going to work for you, it's going to work for you. If you believe that you're going to be fine or whatever, it's going to be fine. So it's
but
all
you've
about
got to
yeah.
do it for yourself. That's the
100%.
thing. Because those people who are praying have been taught to pray because they've gone to church, to whatever religious institution, and that's just how they've. Maybe it doesn't work for them, but they just believe.
Yeah.
No, but
You know?
that's,
Listen, when I
you're
went-
both defining faith, which is as long as time, and if you look at any religion, it relies on faith. You look at things that took the world by storm, The Secret and the power of affirmation.
Same thing, yeah.
It's all faith, and what you give power to and what you believe in
Yeah.
will be true for you. So that's why, like for me, the most important thing with these types of conversations is it's not that it just miraculously happens.
Yeah.
It's that you believed and acted accordingly.
Yes.
So in those months where you going, this guy's not earning. And I say this thing so often because it's so important for me, because I think it's so easy for somebody who's in a bad situation to misinterpret it. It was that, I call it the DJ Spoo saying. Years ago, I heard DJ Spoo being interviewed, and I've said this many times, and he was being interviewed about having a Porsche and the fact that he still went to the same church in Soweto while he had a Porsche. And the interviewer said to him, are you not embarrassed to go with this fancy Porsche to this impoverished community? And he said, no, I do it on purpose so that those people can see that we are the same. The difference between me and most of them is when I finish praying for what I want, I get up and go and work for what I prayed for. So for me, it's you're not saying that you just sit back and believe it's
Yeah,
going to
you
happen.
keep
There's also
going. Yeah,
activity
no,
every day. You're working every day.
Yeah.
You're moving every day. Because I think a lot of people get discouraged because they want to pray and just sit and wait.
Just get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pray
The
and
bills,
play the
the
lotto.
bills are gonna be my bills are gonna be okay. I'm gonna be fine because I have faith and I believe. Yeah, but you didn't get off your ass.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You've
100%.
got to get up and dala
Yeah.
is a very important component
Yeah.
of the whole thing. Sorry, continue.
And that's the thing. And then also like you got to be specific. Like so, you know how they say that there's no rules to happiness. But
Yeah.
there's a couple of rules.
There are some
There's
rules.
A couple of rules.
Tell us Ronaldo's rules.
Yeah.
So you have to have some sort of a goal.
Yes.
Some sort of a goal. So like like with me, it's like because I want peace. My thing is not materialistic things anymore. It's change. I want things that matter. I don't want to look back and say I wasted my life and I didn't have experiences with my son, with my family, with my friends. You know, so everything to me is about experience. It's not about money. It's not about anything. I don't need the car. I don't need any of this stuff. But I need experiences. So I need to know that like I was a good son. I was a good father. I was this. I was that. So that's my goals all the time. I want to, and I even write stuff down. So I write down the beginning of the year. I said like. And you got to be specific as well, because if you're not specific, some people
You're
say,
rolling the dice.
I want to be famous. I want to be famous. I want to be famous. I want to be famous.
rich.
Boom! Smack a dude with the car. That guy dies. Now you're famous.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody knows your name.
Yo, bruh. And then so
Trending.
you got to be like, hey, I want to be famous for this and this and this. I want to be famous
And
on
for a
stage. I
long
want to be
time.
famous.
And
Yeah.
not on the front page for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. But then it's like, so then I've got those things. So I spend my life on like moments with my family. Every year we go away at the end of the year. My father, my brother, my niece, my son, my mom, and we all go away as a family. We save up for the whole year. We pay in the beginning of the year so we can get cheaper flights. It's not easy, but we do it, and it's our thing. My dad's 77 years old. He's getting older. My mom's also getting older. So and we pride ourselves on being able to do that. And we go and we so together, you know. And then and it's the same as my son. Like everything that I do, like a lot of people are like always oh, your Instagram's like always like with your son and you're just like bragging. It's not. One day my son's going to look back, he's going to watch all these videos and he's going to say, yes, my dad.
So it's
Look
on
at my dad.
purpose, it's
Dad
deliberate.
was so loving.
And I love what you said. It's not easy, but we do it.
Yeah, we do it.
We
It's
do
just
it because
a
we want it.
given
It's
that we
part
have
of our
to do.
goals. We make it happen.
Yeah.
We work for it.
And we don't want to look back and say, yes, we had the time, we didn't do anything. So that's another thing. When I came out of the depression, one of the biggest things was I wasted so much time. Once I got like my confidence back and my self-worth, I was like, I've wasted years like just being depressed. And I'm like, and I've got this, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that, and bring out the book and do this, and I want to do a TV show. And I directed a movie with Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
guy.
Come
And I was
on.
like teaching him how to act. I'm like, yes, I used to watch this guy wrestle.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, hey, Rob, give me more of this.
Bring it down over there, Rob.
Listen. You're not listening, Rob.
I'm not going to say it again, Rob.
You know, I often speak to people about like my favorite thing is to do things to impress myself.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything
Yeah.
for anyone. In the previous episode, we spoke about the 75 hard and that I've done. And dude, there's so much joy
Yeah.
in just not giving a damn about what anybody else
Yeah.
thinks and doing a thing
And for yourself.
because it makes you happy.
Ah. It's the best, that's where the power lies. Like, it's the same as that little poem that I wrote. So
Where's that? Where's your phone?
that poem-
Bring Ronaldo's phone there, please.
yeah,
Be-
that whole poem is all about that. Is about loving yourself. You know?
I want you to read the poem in a second. On line with what you guys were just saying now, but one of my close friends, if they're watching this, they'll know exactly who they are. So I won't mention names, but called me to say, they've had this revelation, and actually they are the best at what they do. And then they went on to go, they are better than so and so, better than so and so, better than so and so. Somebody who they perceive to be doing better or having more than what they have. And after the whole rant about how good they are, I said to them, I feel like your language is wrong and that you're setting yourself up for failure. And they said, what do you mean? I said, no, I think that you should just aim to be better than you were yesterday.
for
Just
yourself, not against someone else.
your only competition is you yesterday. And I can't explain that better to anybody. Like, I competition is healthy, and I think competition can be good, and especially if you're in a competitive lane, maybe you're a sports person or whatever the case is. But even then, I honestly believe the best and healthiest way to consistently be better is just to try and be better than yourself yesterday. It's not about other people.
Yeah.
Because once you start making it about other people, then you
not gonna
can't
work,
celebrate
yeah.
anybody else's win. You can't celebrate anybody else's victory. And as soon as somebody else's win feels like a loss to you, then for me, you're on a very dangerous
that is
track.
terrible.
And from there, it can only get worse.
Yeah,
You wrote this. Just give us context for what you're about
Yeah,
to
so
read. And
I wrote this once I got back from Portugal.
okay, so this was when you'd spent time with your aunt who was on death's bed.
Yeah.
Your guilt, you said, was this is somebody who was praying for life and you were praying for death. It was also somebody who gave you perspective, and I think that it's so important to have perspective and sometimes, being in somebody's presence who's going through something worse than yourself to help you sometimes, just because sometimes you just need to shake it off and realize it's actually not that bad. I love that articulation of when you boiled it all down. It's embarrassing to say, but it was, how am I allowing myself to feel like this because a woman doesn't want me?
Yeah.
Is what it
break
all
it down to the simplest terms of
boiled
like
down
what it
to.
is.
So
what is this problem?
you're on your way back, and this is what you write. This is what you were feeling. Please read it. Please
so
read
I
it for
actually
us.
stopped this. I'm very creative and I write a lot of stuff and I write jokes sometimes. I write scripts sometimes. I write books sometimes. So I just always put these things down. So I wrote this thing halfway, and I never finished it. And so basically, it's called Me.
Is it finished now?
This,
Or
now
is it
it's
still
finished,
half?
now it's
Okay.
finished, yeah.
What
I'll
made
tell you
finish
at
it?
what point
Okay,
when I
sharp,
get
sharp,
where
sharp.
I stop.
Go for it.
So it goes, numb and confused, too many voices in my head. Why did this happen? Why did it end? Searching for something, a glimmer of light, something to make me get up and fight. So hard to understand why someone I loved would want to raise me like I wasn't enough. Playing it back over and over again, there must have been something I said. Not sure what to do or how to move on, just stuck in time and everything's gone. Wake up crying, can't sleep through the night, holding my pillow ever so tight. I'm going to get a little bit emotional here. Why can't I move on, get out of this bed? Why do I feel that I'm better off dead? There must be a reason, but I'll never know. She's gone now and I must let her go. I loved her so much, but what I failed to see is that I gave all of my affection and left none for me. I need to know that I'm enough, that I'm not yet dead. A lot of my sadness is just in my head. Now empty and hollow, looking for love, not from a person, a friend or above, but from inside my soul is where it must be. Life will get better when I start loving me. So that's a little bit rough. But it was like profound because I stopped at why do I feel like I'm better off dead, and I never carried on. And then when I got to Portugal, I just started like sitting with my aunt and all that kind of stuff. And what was weird is like even when I came back, like I was still going through some troubles and stuff, and she'd make a point of like SMSing me and telling me like you're such a good dad, and like just weird.
Do you think that somehow because she loved you, she knew the things you needed to hear, the things that you needed to focus on for yourself?
Yeah, I think like it's weird. It's like it's not that you need someone to say that, but it's like when you don't hear it, like men are unsung heroes, man. We have children, everything goes to the wife. Like they're like, oh, she just had a baby, like give her a push present and this and that and whatever. And oh, your life's over. You're not important anymore. It's you and the baby. And it's so weird. It's like this scary fucking time. You have a baby, you're new to having a baby, and it's so stressful. And it's like you're trying your best, and all of a sudden it's like what people don't understand, and also like a lot of women in relationships, they don't understand for the guy, the second that baby's born, you're like, shit, I need to up my game. I need to make more money. I need to pay for school. You're thinking about 20 years into the future, and your anxiety is like through the roof. So like you're not thinking about just whatever. It's like comes gushing. And so that was the stress. I was always like so far ahead in the future. And then with her, it's like the same thing like with the coffee, the cappuccino. She started being like, like, look what you did. And you made this beautiful video and you got to take him here and he's going to remember that. Like he's going to remember this thing. And it was a small thing. So I also stopped like living so far ahead and like had to pull myself back and be like, cool, what's important? We're here now. We got a house, we got this, we got that. If we don't have that, we still got each other. Me and him would still have each other. I even had to work a little bit because I started putting too much weight on him and not enough. And then, so I had to like take it off him. I was like, I can't also burden him with the stuff, and I didn't want him to grow up like depressed or being sad because so I always had to act like I'm okay. Like even now, I cry all the time. I'm so emotional. My son to this day is like, oh, Dad, I never see you cry. Because around him, I just,
Do you feel though like you perhaps giving him the wrong impression though by pretending to be okay?
Hmm.
Because I've got 2 boys as well, and my boys know I'm an emotional being as well. I cry all the time, and I make it very clear to them that it's okay.
You're allowed to cry.
That you're
Yeah.
allowed to cry. You're allowed to have these feelings. Because also, like you're saying, men are unsung heroes, and I feel like the world that we're living in now, it's tough to be a man, and even to say those words. I know that people's hair standing up on the back of their necks, going, "Oh, you don't understand," and that's not the point. The point is that it's tough, and we don't always know. We like, oh, I lost my whole train.
No, so
Me and Nick are going
I
through
think,
some
I think
stuff, eh?
that, no, I think that Nick. I think firstly, like with the thing of, I think being able to say it's hard being a man doesn't take anybody else's hardness away.
Yeah, I know for
And
sure.
you're not trying to say that or not acknowledge anybody else's hardness.
Life is
But
hard.
I really agree with Nick in terms of, because our dads did their best to not cry in front of us, did that not somehow make it not
No, for
okay
sure.
for us to cry?
Yeah.
And I think it is okay for us to cry.
100%.
So I think you make a good point.
But he cries. Like he comes to me and I'm like, hey, you can cry.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if he misses his mom, he cries. And like if I'm leaving and I'm going to go film in Cape Town or whatever, he cries.
Yeah.
And I let him cry. And it's just he hasn't. But also, listen, I was crying when he wasn't there. Like if I had to cry in front of him, I would cry in front of him.
Okay.
It's not like I'm holding
Okay.
back.
Okay. Yeah.
What
No,
I'm
but-
saying is like if I tell him like he'll come, he'll hear his thing, and I can see he's got tears
Yeah.
in his eyes,
Like,
and I'm
let
like,
it
hey,
out,
buddy, it's
boy.
okay to cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay to cry. And then he's like, oh, but you don't cry. I'm like, hey, I cry all the time. Like I tell him.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
And then one last thing. Sorry, man. It's gosh, now I missed my train. That's another thing with the unsung hero. Just to go back to that thing. Let's say you tell a buddy, like I'll tell a buddy, like you tell another guy,
Yeah.
hey, this what happened. I'm going through a divorce, whatever. It's 80% of the time met without empathy.
Yeah.
So a guy will be like, oh man, screw her. She's
Yeah.
with this and this.
Yeah.
Get over it. Da, da, da. So like, there's none of that like where you can actually talk.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the man where we say it's tough. Where a girl, she's getting celebrated all the time. A chick puts up a photo on Facebook and everyone's like, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. A guy puts one up there like,
Yeah, be quarrying you. What are those? Talking about your shoes.
You shouldn't be
you're
looking
like,
for
hey,
your
I'm
joy
feeling
from there.
cute today. I don't know. Might delete
Yeah.
later. Everyone's like,
And I spoke to a friend of ours as well who we had a very similar conversation where he was saying they'd gone through a miscarriage, and his issue was that everybody was checking up on her. Are you okay? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. And they'd come into the house and just greet him.
Yeah.
Hey, how's things? Like a shot. Carry on.
Like you didn't
are you
pay
looking
for
after
any-
her? Are you
Yeah.
looking after her? And you're like, Jesus.
And not understanding that he's also going through things.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we're in a time where, as a man, like we have to defend now
Yeah.
that we're not taking away your hardness. No, we also
Yeah.
go through things. We also
Yeah.
deal with shit. We
We're
also
hurt.
have
And
emotions.
Lead, we feel.
And-
takes power to be
Yeah.
like that. It takes a lot of strength to be the one
Yes.
asking, hey, are you okay? Hey, I love you. It's like that takes courage, man.
And the
It's-
world just
it's-
expects you
it-
to get up and go. We've just got to
It
we've got
takes
to suck it up and we've got to go.
Yeah.
And nobody questions. Nobody cares.
I
'Cause
think-
when things, like you say, when the light is born, your mindset immediately shifts to, oh shit, I have to provide for this human
Yeah.
for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And nobody sees the pressure.
Yeah.
Like they understand
Yeah.
like the logic behind it, but
That's also another thing. It's like the baby comes and it's like coming from a Portuguese family or a colored family, or whatever. Like you stick together.
Yeah.
So it's like to deal with the divorce, like it also sounds stupid, but it is a massive thing in the Portuguese.
No, it's
thing.
culturally,
You're like-
it's huge.
You're like, yes, I don't know anyone who's been divorced. Like,
mm.
I'm
I've got
gonna.
aunts and uncles that hate each other, but they still
They
going.
still stick it.
We also need to get better at acknowledging the change. So between the three of us, we put great effort into that type of change. Between the three of us, just here, and I'm saying that this extends obviously, but if we speak just here, we really do ask each other, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really do listen. We tell each other we love each other a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that it's also as men not ignoring the change that is happening and just continuing that and making that okay. And also making it okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I am always inspired, Ronaldo. I want to say thank you firstly for sharing with us and for always being willing to share. My favorite thing about you is your consistency, where even when you're not in a good mood, your love and your warmth makes you always feel the same. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, I think, more than you understand.
Thanks, man.
I also agree with your aunt. You are an amazing dad. The amount of pressure you put under yourself and the type of dad you want to be for your son, I guarantee he's going to look back one day with absolute awe and gratitude for all that you did. And I feel the same way about Nick. Just coming from somebody who had a dad who made a lot of mistakes. I wish I had a dad like either of you. I really, really do. I wish my dad had the consciousness, the state of mind, the state of being, the presence, the strength to just want to be there as badly as the two of you just want to be there. And I think that we must as men continue to encourage each other, to compliment each other, to love each other, to be easy on each other, so to soften up a bit. I'll never forget, I lost my best friend a few years ago to cancer, and in dealing with it, I became very hard with him. And he eventually said to me, yo, bruh, why are you being so hard? And I thought, no, all of these jokes and stabs were, that's the man's way of getting through it. And he just said, no, bro, I just need you to love me. Just be gentle with me. Just love me. And I think that's my wish, is that just men lead by example of the way we want to be treated. Be gentler, be kinder, love harder, be more forgiving. And I think that's half the job done, because I also think that men are part of the problem in terms of the way we treat each other, the expectations we create around each other. I grew up, and I think all of us grew up around friends that use sayings like, drink a concrete milkshake and harden the fuck up. You know what I mean? Nobody cares, work harder. We say all of those things all the time, and yet we yearn for a softer, a warmer. So again, I think that this has been beautiful. I wish we had more time. Ronaldo, please tell everybody where they can A, get the books for their kids, B, where they can follow you and use your services, and anything else that you need to punt out there. Oh,
Nothing
and get
Walt
biltong.
Disney.
And get biltong.
Nothing Walt
And
Disney
get
related.
biltong. And if the biltong is shaped like Mickey Mouse, it's just by chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bad
It's
chance,
not on
guys.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, okay, so I've got a children's book called The Many Adventures of Walter West, which is my son, Walter West. They're like little nursery book rhymes for the ages 2 to 7.
Yeah.
The latest name's Walter. Walter.
Yeah, Walter.
After Walt.
Yeah, after Walter.
Yeah. Show us what you're going to do now, Walt.
Yeah.
We added an ER onto that stuff.
And then
Hilarious.
and then he so we got that book. You can find it on ronaldosilvestre.co.za, my personal website. It is in a couple of stores, Reader's Warehouse, there's the Pine Soaps Craft Market, odd places. And then
So ronaldosilvestre.co.za is where you'll get all of that information
all of
as
that,
well. Yeah.
you can see what I'm doing. I did a cool project for the South African Tourism Board. That's going to be up in a few weeks. Whole of KZN, from Durban to Cozy Bay. Seeing
He was a very creative man.
Yeah,
Just
whole
all-
bunch
And a
of cool-
Percy person.
yeah. And then I've got something super exciting. I've got this children's show. So
Yeah.
not Disney,
Okay.
but it's my own character called Dexter.
Yeah.
It's a green dragon.
Called what?
Dexter.
Dexter.
So he's got two little puppet friends, Ladybird and stuff. We're shooting a TV show. It's going to be on YouTube for now. That's going to be up on Dexter for Real TV
Are you doing
Love it.
on
puppeteering?
YouTube.
Like,
Sorry? Yeah, it's like it's me in the suit.
but
Me
do
in
you
the
have
suit.
like
and Oh no, that's another two guys that are doing the puppets. But we're touring it now. We're doing like a live shows. So we did like a couple of restaurants. We're going to be going to malls
Love
nationwide,
it.
and then the TV show. Hopefully, we'll get it out in like September or early next year. So we're going to try Showmax. We'll see what happens. But you can follow me on Instagram as well, Ronaldo Silvestre.
Ronaldo Silvestre, we are grateful for your life, my brother. You are actually amazing, and may your Vuma for life inspire so many people to have Vuma for life. Salute, bro.
You guys are amazing, and just encourage everyone to go out and like tell their dads and their brothers and a couple of men what they mean in their lives. I think it can go a long way.
Yeah. Dude, I saw a thing that said, tell your friend, say to your man friend, I love you. Don't say love you, brah, love you, my homie. Say, I love you. Those words.
You're not going to
look them
believe
in
what
the eye
happens.
And just say, I love you.
Yeah.
Because it's okay.
Oh, 100%, man.
It's okay.
Even what you
and
just
we
said
need
goes a
it.
long way, man. That's great. But I love you guys.
Love
We
you
love
too,
you.
man.
Okay.
I love you. Thank you for making time and coming out.
Pleasure,
And,
man. Anytime.
Yeah, as Jay said, you are a light, brother. There are very few people that I know that are consistently the same. And you consistently feel the same. No matter what you're going through.
He's
you
also
feel
cute
good.
and single. Any ladies that are still watching?
Yeah.
And he's got quite a leg on him.
Yeah,
Even in
he's got a
skirt.
leg. He's got a leg.
This thing was
Turns old men
beautiful
on
and-
all the time.
Silver fox.
And you know, he's got a strong...